In Sierra Leone, many former slaves confronted a paradox, liberated yet not free. They returned, burdened by memories of captivity, seeking solace in familiar lands. Communities, strained by the return, grappled with the complexities of reintegration. As they navigated through the shadows of their past, their resilience shone, shaping a narrative of hope and struggle. Through collective efforts, they aimed to find true freedom amidst lingering chains. They crossed the Atlantic in chains, ripped from their homelands, sold into slavery, stripped of identity. But years later, when freedom found them, they chose to return. This is the untold story of a journey back home to Sierra Leone. A land of promise, a land of pain, a land where liberation did not always mean freedom. In 1787, British philanthropists and abolitionists formed a bold idea: a province of freedom in West Africa, a place to resettle formerly enslaved Africans from Britain and later from the Americas. That place would become Sierra Leone. The first arrivals were poor black people from London. Many of them freed slaves who had fought for the British in the American War of Independence. Promised land and liberty, they landed near modern-day Freetown. But the dream quickly soured. Disease, conflict with local Temne rulers, and neglect from the British made life unbearable. Many died within months. The colony collapsed, only to be revived years later with a new wave of returnees. By the early 1800s, thousands more former slaves arrived, from Jamaica, Nova Scotia, and especially from the decks of intercepted slave ships. These were the liberated Africans, or recaptives, caught by the British Navy as it began policing the Atlantic against illegal slave traders. They were offloaded in Sierra Leone. Many had no connection to the land. They spoke different languages, carried different cultures, but were grouped as one. They were free, but they were not free to return home. Many had forgotten where home even was. The settlers built Freetown, a city carved into hills and history. Streets bore names like Wilberforce and Congo Town. Churches and schools sprang up. The Creole language, a blend of English and African dialects, was born. But behind the stone walls and colonial uniforms lay deep tensions. The British governors still ruled. Land rights were fragile, and discrimination persisted from both colonial officials and indigenous communities. The liberated were grateful, but they were also displaced, foreign in their own continent, free, yet shackled by a system built on dependency. Over time, the returnees forged something new, not fully African, not fully Western, but uniquely Creole. Their culture merged Western education with African spirituality, Christian faith with ancestral memory. They became traders, teachers, missionaries, spreading across West Africa as the British expanded their reach. Yet within Sierra Leone, they often found themselves caught between two worlds. Their children knew English hymns, but not their ancestral tongues. Their hearts longed for roots, but the soil beneath them still felt foreign. Today, the legacy of Sierra Leone's returnees lives on. The Creole people remain a vibrant part of the nation's identity, but the echoes of that painful return are still heard, in the songs, in the struggle, in the search for belonging. Liberated but not freed, their story forces us to ask, what does true freedom look like? Is it the breaking of chains or the healing of memory? The people who returned to Sierra Leone were survivors. They carried more than scars. They carried dreams. Some died searching for home. Others built it with their bare hands. Their story is not just Sierra Leone's. It belongs to every African ripped from the continent, to every descendant of the diaspora searching for meaning. In their footsteps, we find not only pain, but purpose. Subscribe for more powerful, untold African histories. What do you think freedom meant for the returnees of Sierra Leone? Share your thoughts below. Turn on notifications so you never miss a journey into history.